Good morning, everybody. Welcome back for installment of Scott Selections here for Saturday, March 5th. For today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. Gave out a couple of look-ahead UFC plays for Saturday's UFC 272 card. So if you want some UFC picks, I got you covered. Check out the video before this one. But either way, moving on to today's pick, it's going to be in a matchup in the Western Conference between the Trailblazers and the Timberwolves, taking place at around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And for the play of the day, we're going to lay a pretty huge number here. Going to take Minnesota minus 13 at minus 110 on Caesars. Time recording of 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple reasons why I like the Timberwolves in the spot. First of all, Portland, since the All-Star break, has gotten destroyed time and time again. It's played 3 games since the All-Star break. It's lost each game by at least 30 points. And to go through the actual opponents, first Portland played Golden State at home. Golden State, we know, has been struggling, still a pretty talented team as a whole, and Portland lost to the struggling Warriors by 37 points in Portland. Then they played Denver. Denver, we know, is a pretty decent playoff team. They're still, of course, missing Porter Jr. and Murray. That was in Portland. They lost that game by 32. And then they played against Phoenix on the road in their last game. Phoenix, we know, missing Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And Portland lost that game by 30. Now they take on a Minnesota team that's won 3 in a row. They beat Oklahoma City by 37 yesterday. They've won each of the last 2 games by at least 15 points, including a 15-point win against the same Golden State team that beat Portland by 37. But Minnesota still competing for a lot, still trying to fight its way out of the play-in game. Probably going to end up in there, but they're still fighting for seeding. And to go through the actual trends here for Portland on the road, all season long, even when healthy, this has been a brutal road team. The Trailblazers are 9-19 straight up and 10-18 ATS on the highway. To go through some efficiency numbers, Minnesota's much better at offense and at defense. Minnesota ranks 13th in offensive efficiency. Portland ranks 23rd. Minnesota ranks 17th in defense efficiency. Portland ranks 28th. And if you want to actually look at the current projected lineups, no exaggeration, Portland, in my opinion, is the worst team in the entire league. To go through the actual starting lineup, it's supposed to be Simons, who I will admit is pretty good, Ellerby, Elijah Hughes, Greg Brown, and Drew Eubanks. To go through those other 4 guys, Eubanks is, I'd say, on any decent team, an 8th or 9th man, and the other 3, Ellerby, Hughes, and Brown, would probably not be on an actual, I'd say, rotation. They're just not very good. To look at the injuries, of course, you have Lillard out for the rest of the year, most likely. Nurkic is out for about a month. Josh Hart's out. Eric Bledsoe's out. Justice Winslow's out. This team's an absolute mess. And in a 7-game series between Portland and Houston, I'm taking Houston. I think Portland's actually that bad. Meanwhile, Minnesota is still missing Anthony Edwards. He might come back for this game. Probably not. Still dealing with a bit of a knee issue, but they scored 138 points last night without him anyway. Still have Russell. Still have Towns. Still have a decent bench. And you want to talk about Minnesota and how this team is just better in every area, it's even more true because if you want to go through the rebounding numbers, Portland's technically better, but that's because Nurkic played a decent portion of the season. Now he's out. Portland has no backcourt, no front court at all. After Eubanks, you really don't have anybody, and Eubanks isn't that good in the first place. But Portland has gotten repeatedly blown out by a couple of quality teams since the All-Star break, and Minnesota's definitely a quality team. And if you want to talk about some concern regarding a back-to-back with travel for Minnesota after playing in Oklahoma City yesterday, to just put it lightly, the starters really didn't need to play that much because the entire starting 5 played less than 26 minutes. In fact, every single player on Minnesota played less than 26 minutes. They should be well rested. I doubt they're going to rest anybody for this game just because they were able to go relatively easy in yesterday's game because they were coasting the entire way. And at the end of the day, Portland, until they show some sign of life, 13 might sound like a lot of points. It's not. When you've lost by 30-plus in your last 3 games, the spread should be closer to 15 or 16 here. But Minnesota should probably score 120, 130. I'm not sure Portland gets to 100 in this game. It could get really ugly, but I'm going to take the 13 because I'd be shocked if 13 was available in the mornings. The play that once again here for Saturday, March 5th, is going to be on the Timberwolves, minus 13 at minus 110 on Caesars. Bye, everyone.